Tonight on NewsVision, following President Trump's executive order, the future of DEI at the University of Miami is uncertain. We'll tell you how students are responding.
Students will rise up. Students will speak out.
Plus, a special reunion in one Miami neighborhood bay after one woman saves a neighbor's life. We will tell you why she's being hailed a hero. And later on, Miami students took to the field at Mark Light, stepping up to bat for the Canes baseball team.
I think it's important to allow the team, the players, and the student body to kind of interact a little bit.
All this and more on tonight's show. It starts right now. Good evening and welcome to the first NewsVision of this spring semester. I'm Christopher Perez.
And I'm Lauren Harrington. Thank you for joining us. On his second day in office, President Trump signed an executive order that seeks to terminate diversity, equity, and inclusion, also known as DEI practices in federally funded institutions.
The University of Miami removed all DEI program information from its websites last week and has released limited details if the programs will return.
Emma Balleste tells us more about the changes and how some student leaders are responding.
For University of Miami junior Luna Perez, who identifies with the pronouns she and they, diversity on campus is very important. That's why Luna, along with thousands of other students, was shocked when the university suddenly shut down all its diversity, equity, and inclusion websites without warning last week.
Yeah, I believe that this will definitely impact just the students that come here to our university. If they, if UM doesn't make it clear that they prioritize uplifting those students.
Students who may rely on DEI initiatives to find their community on campus feel helpless as access to cultural affair websites are currently unavailable. This sudden change in the university's policies comes as a result of President Trump's executive order, which eliminates federal funding for all DEI programs for government and public organizations. And despite the University of Miami being a private institution, it receives some federal and state funding, which Trump threatened to cut if the DEI initiatives were not abolished. The Trump administration says it's ending DEI to protect civil rights and merit-based opportunities for all people, a sentiment that some students agree with.
I think we should remain united. I think instead of seeing through colors, we should see through performance, through merit-based. The United States is a country that everyone, regardless of color, race, identity, sexual orientation, has the same opportunity.
According to information from the Faculty Senate, DEI programs at the university have not been abolished, but rather rebranded to culture and belonging. But when searching for this initiative, no results are found. That has left many students frustrated.
It is definitely concerning that the university hasn't been transparent about these policies. We've seen the university take away gender-affirming healthcare just recently, last summer.
In a statement emailed to students on Monday, the university said, "External circumstances may shift, but our focus has long been on delivering results and having a positive impact on each other and on those around us." The administration is yet to return UMTV's multiple requests for comments. And now, over 50 student organizations on campus have started a petition asking the University of Miami's administration to reaffirm support for minority communities.
Students will rise up. Students will speak out. We're not going to let this happen. Our homes, our institutions, we're the reason why UM is UM. And so they want to take away our education, we're going to fight back.
Emma Balleste, UMTV.
Miami is not alone in DEI program changes, and many federally funded universities may soon follow suit. But DEI are not the only programs facing change on college campuses. Universities that receive federal funding will also need to follow Title IX policies instituted during Trump's first presidency. These policies would exclude protections against discrimination due to one's gender identity and sexuality, which was a regulation added under former President Biden. But Miami never adopted the changes to Title IX because the state of Florida joined a lawsuit against the new rules, and Trump's new order guarantees they will not be.
The University of Miami is reinstating standardized test scores beginning in the fall of 2026, and that will end the test optional process put in place during the pandemic. Prospective applicants are now required to submit an SAT or ACT score with their admissions application.
I would say with families and students who are incoming, I know that they typically like the test optional just because it is an added layer of security, and I'm not sure how they're going to respond to it. You know, it was that way for many years.
The university says it is reinstating the policy to have additional data during the admissions review process, but administrators say they will continue to use a holistic process to review each application, with test scores being only one piece of the larger puzzle that include grades, extracurriculars, community involvement, and personal statements. And for current Canes, the University of Miami will be getting a little pricier next year. The total cost of attendance is projected to rise to $97,000 for the 2025-2026 year. This is nearly a 4% increase, equal to just about $4,000. Students will have to pay more in all categories, an additional $2,500 for tuition, and nearly $1,000 more for housing.
The University of Miami's Theater Arts Department finally has a new building to call home. But what's in store for renovating other school buildings? Amanda Mohammed tells us more.
Students at the University of Miami's Theater Arts program are celebrating the opening of a new state-of-the-art facility on the Coral Gables campus after holding classes in the First United Methodist Church on Red Road for almost 3 years.
It took a minute to walk to Red Roads because I couldn't take the bus because the Centennial housing, it was faster to walk than to wait for a bus route. So I had a 20-minute cardio exercise every morning, which was not great in the 100-degree heat in August.
With 2 stories and 1,500 square feet, the space offers theater arts students access to brand new voice practice rooms, dance studios, a black box theater, and more at 1228 Dickinson Drive across from the Centennial Village residential colleges.
Everyone is so much more positive now that we have this new space. It's so big and beautiful, and because we get to visit with other classes now, since everybody's here, you get to see more of your friends.
But as theater arts students get to experience a brand new set of facilities, another set of performers on campus are still practicing in less than adequate conditions. Back in April, UMTV reported on the deteriorating conditions of the Bertha Foster practice rooms in the Frost School of Music. We even conducted a mold test in parts of the rooms and found bacteria on the inside and outside of the air vents.
When I'm not able to get into a different space, I am forced to use those practice rooms, and they are not necessarily viable for productive practice all of the time.
But are there any plans to fix Foster's problems? According to a statement from UM's Facilities and Operations, the Theater Arts building was prioritized because the department was forced off campus after the demolition of Hecht Residential College, where it was previously housed, and, quote, the university actively assesses renovation needs across campus, including Foster, to determine how best to address concerns within the broader capital planning framework. With a packed schedule, the lack of transparency on facility updates only adds stress to these performers' lives.
It does put a dampen on my education when I have to use spaces like our practice rooms or have to go through the ringer just to get a space like a classroom or a rehearsal hall.
Even with the new building, theater arts upperclassmen like Jordan still mourn the time they lost without proper facilities.
We were under the impression that we would have a new building last fall, but because of Centennial and lots of construction projects that were happening with the same company, our building was put on the back burner. But I would say it was definitely worth the wait.
Amanda Mohammed, UMTV.
The University of Miami is mourning the death of one of our own. Dr. Catherine Freeman, a professor at the English department, passed away a week ago after being diagnosed with a severe illness over winter break. Dr. Freeman earned her PhD from Yale University in 1990 and was the author of 5 scholarly books. She taught at UM for 30 years, sharing her expertise and passion for literature with thousands of students. The university is planning an event to remember her in the coming months.
Close to 700,000 people die from heart-related diseases in the United States every year. But one lucky Miami resident recently survived a heart attack that could have been deadly. Emmeline Smith joins us live at Coral Reef Park in Palmetto Bay, where the near-death experience has become a story of hope and inspiration. Emmeline, what happened?
Here in the village of Palmetto Bay, Coral Reef Park is more than just a patch of grass and sand to the local community. It's a gathering place for visitors of all ages to connect and take a step back from the chaos of the 305. But just 4 weeks ago on the volleyball courts right behind me, a routine game of beach volleyball took a tragic turn. But thanks to the quick response of one woman, a life was saved.
Miami resident Ariel Monduli is no stranger to the volleyball courts at Coral Reef Park in the village of Palmetto Bay.
I've been going to that park for 25 plus years.
But on January 4th, Manduli's set took an unexpected timeout.
The last thing I remember was, hey guys, I feel a little faint, and then I passed out. And I went into cardiac arrest.
Lucky for Ariel, a guardian angel was standing by. Brittany Vera, who works for the Parks Department, sprung into action when alerted of the emergency, transferring an automated external defibrillator to the scene and beginning the process before first responders arrived.
And honestly, I told myself when I got on my knees, I was like, this isn't about me. This is literally his life right now.
Just 3 months ago, the village of Palmetto Bay updated the AED equipment in Coral Reef Park.
We recently, meaning December, we installed the new machines. And it needed an upgrade.
Experts say that when in a life-threatening situation, an AED combined with CPR is vital to recovery. According to the American Heart Association, bystanders only administer CPR 40% of the time and AEDs even less so.
I just hope that inspires people to get trained, or at least have some knowledge about it.
Vera was recognized on Monday at a Palmetto Bay Council meeting and awarded a plaque from the city. She was also awarded the Heart Saver Award on behalf of Cintas, the supplier and servicer of the AED found in the park.
Whereas Brittany's heroic actions not only saved a life, but also exemplified the importance of preparedness, training, and the power of community in times of crisis.
Thanks to Brittany, not only did Manduli gain a second chance at life, but a new appreciation for it as well.
I'm a big person of faith. I was there for a reason, because if I would have been anywhere else, not happening.
Following his time in the intensive care unit, Manduli was told that there was no specified cause for his heart going into cardiac arrest. According to the test, he was in perfect health condition. It's always a good idea to educate yourself, locate local emergency medical equipment, and get certified. It could be your best friend, your grandfather, or your father in that position, and you have the power to save their life. Reporting for UMTV, my name is Emmeline Smith.
Thank you, Emmeline. Coming up, supermarkets across the nation are missing one grocery staple. We'll tell you what to expect on your next grocery run. Stay with us.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo? Donating to a pet's medical care can keep families together. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Hello and welcome to Coast, bringing you coverage from across the United States. I'm Andres Jaime Mendez.
And I'm Emma Balleste. American aviation is experiencing a turbulent time. After an American Airlines flight collided with a Black Hawk helicopter in Washington, killing 67, a medical flight crashed in Philadelphia, killing 7 and injuring 22.
President Trump claimed the D.C. crash was caused by DEI hiring, which caused a lot of backlash. The National Transportation Safety Board, also known as the NTSB, is conducting an investigation into both crashes.
Across the nation, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, also known as ICE, is making raids to move immigrants from the country, including here in Miami.
Many residents have spoken out against these deportations, and tomorrow there is a planned protest outside of Homestead City Hall. This poster has been circulating social media, urging residents to gather against the deportations. Next week, we'll tell you more about why the community came together to protest these raids here in South Florida. Also in the area, besides the nerves and fear felt by many over ICE raids, the new tariffs that President Trump introduced are thought to affect many local businesses.
We spoke to one small business in Miami to see how they feel about the changes.
President Trump originally announced the U.S. would implement a 25% tariff on Mexican and Canadian imports. But after the stock market fell Monday, Trump announced that he will delay the tariffs for 30 days. Still, businesses are preparing for the price increase in the coming weeks. Here in Miami, Mexican restaurant Taqueria Los Nopales imports all of their ingredients from Mexico.
When you have experience in gastronomy and the food market, and you can begin to buy your own products, it's like everything else. You have to look in the right places to not have to change your prices, because you can't do that.
When asked how he can sustain business, Oscar focused on his pride as a cook rather than profits.
We have to realize we're in a time now where our focus is still just to give people a taste of our food, and why raise prices when what matters is where we came from, not what the situation is right now.
Businesses in the 305 are trying their best to maintain normal operations, but it is still uncertain what will happen if these tariffs come into effect next month.
That's all we have for now. Coast to Coast will be back next week with your national updates.
Thank you, Andres and Emma. Dozens of grocery stores in South Florida are having a hard time stocking eggs after an outbreak of bird flu that has caused a shortage. And that is leading to many shoppers to panic buy. As a result, egg prices has risen significantly. Max Keller joins us live from one local Publix to tell us more about how the community is being affected and what store owners are doing to solve the issue. Max?
Miami residents are scrambling to find eggs in grocery stores right now, with some customers striking out across multiple different locations, including the Publix behind me here in Coral Gables. Now, the likely reason for the shortages is due to a recent outbreak of bird flu beginning in 2022, which thinned supplies and jacked up prices. The price of a dozen eggs has increased nearly 15% between November and December of 2024.
Just in the last year alone, we've had to euthanize more than 40 million birds, and we started this year by euthanizing an additional 15 million birds because of this deadly virus. It's absolutely devastating.
Stores like Aldi have placed restrictions on the amount of eggs customers can buy per trip. As of now, customers are limited to 2 cartons or a total of 24 eggs. Additionally, restaurants like Waffle House are charging customers more after announcing a nearly 50% upcharge on eggs. Now, supplies are not likely to steady out until bird flu is contained, leaving prices high and customers hungry. Reporting for UMTV, my name is Max Keller.
You know, Lauren, it's been really warm the past 2 days. I wonder what's going on.
It's been pretty sunny side up.
Sunny side up it is, and temperatures are in the 80s. It's absolutely gorgeous. We sure are feeling spring very early here in South Florida. Much of the rest of the country is actually experiencing colder than average temperatures, and that is going to be causing a very, very treacherous journey for them up north. But for us here across South Florida, we're in the 80s. Temperatures actually above normal. The average high for this time of year is 77 degrees, so we're looking to be above that. And that is what's going to be keeping us nice and warm over the next few days. Unfortunately, with this warmth and dry stretch we've been experiencing, the new drought monitor was issued for Florida this morning, and we have a moderate drought for a big portion of our state, along with abnormally dry conditions depicted in yellow. Zooming in closer to home, we see that moderate drought actually expanded all over Palm Beach County into Broward County and parts of Miami-Dade County. And our departures from normal, those statistics are saying we are about 1.35 inches below normal here in Miami and just over 2 inches below normal in Fort Lauderdale. The last time we experienced any rain was actually January 23rd, so it's been quite some time. Tonight we're seeing some fog that might form over the interior portions of South Florida. This would only impact you if you were heading on that Alligator Alley towards Naples and much towards Southwest Florida. And when you look towards Sunday and our Super Bowl, fog is impacting New Orleans where that Super Bowl will be happening. But luckily by the time the game is expected to come, we will not be seeing any fog. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 70s to mid 70s by the time the game ends. Kickoff is at 6:30, and our next 7 days are looking picture perfect rinse and repeat 80s and 70s at night.
Thank you, Quinn. Still ahead, we'll tell you why students traded places with the baseball team recently. And we'll take a look at one staple of the baseball program that's celebrating an impressive jubilee. Stay with us.
Thousands of kids start vaping.
And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how's sketches, me? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You didn't turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, Backpack Kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending, honey.
Come on. Let's go.
Oh, honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Welcome to sports. I'm John Stanley. The 59th Super Bowl game on Sunday is in New Orleans, and President Trump is expected to attend. That would make him the first sitting president to do so. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson, who is a Louisiana native, is considering joining Trump. The Super Bowl has a high security presence every year, but preparations will be taken very seriously ahead of Trump's attendance. Security concerns around the event are heightened after NOLA faced a terrorist attack on New Year's. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem visited the New Orleans attack site and spoke on the preparations for Sunday's game.
The Super Bowl is the biggest Homeland Security event that we do every single year, and this will be the 11th time that New Orleans has hosted that event. And we plan for it to be an exciting event, one that will be safe.
New Orleans is expecting more than 300,000 visitors this weekend for the Super Bowl. The Department of Homeland Security is deploying more than 2,500 law enforcement officers, state troopers, and National Guard troops to patrol the event. Moving on to basketball, Miami Heat star player Jimmy Butler has officially been bounced out of Miami. The six-time All-Star was traded last night to the Golden State Warriors. Miami will send Butler to the Bay Area in exchange for Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and a protected first-round pick. Butler was suspended twice by the team in the last month following character issues, and the conflict he had with the front office is a leading reason for his departure from the team. Butler spent 5.5 seasons with the Heat, and despite leading them to 2 NBA Finals appearances, he'll leave many Heat fans with a sour taste in their mouths following his departure. We'll jump from the NBA to college hoops because Canes basketball fans finally have something to cheer about. Let's take a look at Miami's game from last weekend against Notre Dame. First quarter, Miami down 8. Jalen Blackman pokes it away, gives it to Staten McRae, who pushes it up the floor, and he lays it off for Lynn Kidd for the flush. Some defense turned into offense there for Miami. Before half, Miami's still down. Kidd will grab the miss. Swartz will take it up the court, and he'll throw it up to Cleveland, who finishes with authority. Matthew Cleveland showing off the athleticism there on the bucket. Great play for Miami. Second half now, Cleveland will drive, and he'll kick it to Brandon Johnson. He's wide open for the 3-ball. Cash! Canes cut it to 2. A few possessions later, Ugachukwu will reset to Cleveland. He's got nothing on the shot clock. He's got to do something with it. What's he got? A double clutch contested fadeaway? You bet. Canes take the lead with 6 to go. And to go up down the stretch, Ugachukwu again. He'll find Kidd, who's got the soft touch off the front rim. Miami ends a 10-game losing streak. They win 63-57. Interim head coach Bill Courtney gets his first win as a Hurricane. The Miami Hurricanes baseball team sees plenty of their own balls fly out of Marklight Field for home runs. But on Monday, it was not the baseball players at the plate. On Monday, University of Miami students got to live in the Canes baseball players' cleats for an afternoon. The school held its annual Student Home Run Derby, giving everyday students the chance to step up to the plate and try to go deep.
I think it's important to allow the team, the players, and the student body to kind of interact a little bit, and in our office, right out here on the field, and they give them a chance to know what it feels like to swing a bat under the lights and stuff like that. So,
more than 30 students participated in the event in front of a crowd of their peers, Miami baseball players and coaches, and even school president Joe Echevarria, who is a big baseball fan.
The baseball program is legendary, not just in Miami, but in the country. So why not have a great time as a student? I think they should be involved in everything. It is part of student life, right? Not just, you got academics first and foremost, but going to athletic events is part of the student experience at a school like the University of Miami.
Students got to meet members of the baseball team as well, including head coach J.D. Arteaga, who appreciates the love that the team gets from the student body.
It's a fun 2.5, 3 hours, a little break from school and studying, and just come out here and have a good time and enjoy some good baseball and cheer the Canes on.
The Student Home Run Derby is open to anyone. Doesn't matter what major you are, what year. Doesn't matter if you've never played baseball before in your life. Anyone can go up and take some hacks. So I think I'm going to go try to test my luck.
I can't say I'm proud of my performance in the batter's box, but the winner of the Derby, Aiden Minnick, took home some Canes merch and can't wait for the baseball season to start.
Obviously a huge fan. Milkshakes are amazing at the stadium. It's just a great environment. Love the stadium, great team, and hope we do well this year.
Back from the students next week on February 14th against Niagara University. And those heading to the game should make sure to grab a milkshake, as Mitch Friedman's legendary milkshake stand is celebrating its 40th anniversary. Friedman's milkshake stand is a staple of the baseball program at the University of Miami, and the only thing more impressive than the taste of the shakes is the longevity of the stand. The milkshake stand originally started off with 4 simple flavors: vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and coffee. But 40 years later, and the menu features wild flavors such as chicken wings, apple pie, and even lobster. Friedman says the reactions his customers have when they take their first sip is priceless. He loves his milkshake stand and has no plans of slowing down, even after 40 great years. That's all for Sports Today. I'm John Stanley.
Thank you, John. One organization here in Miami is helping young girls gain confidence one run at a time. This weekend, I met with the leader of the group, Girls on the Run Miami.
I like who I am. I am uniquely me. There is no one else I'd rather be.
In 2024, Diane Weinberger founded the chapter of the national organization Girls on the Run, a program dedicated to empowering young girls through running and mentorship.
Let's go, Girls on the Run!
At the Lifetime Miami Marathon, her impact is clear. Girls on the Run mentors take on the challenge, with Diane cheering them on from the sidelines every step of the way.
So my Girls on the Run name is Determined Diane, and I was pretty hell-bent on starting the chapter and got it going. Really because I see what it does empowering these young girls and wanted to bring that to the girls of Miami.
Since its founding, Diane says Girls on the Run gives the opportunity for girls to believe in themselves, to push forward, and to know they belong.
And for some girls, Girls on the Run is the only team they're ever going to be on. And we wanted to give them that experience of just potential growth and empowerment that athletics brings.
And for some, once you are part of that team, you are forever bound to it.
My sorority had a group chat that had like an info text about becoming a Girls on the Run coach. And so I remember, like immediately it just brought back up a ton of memories from when I was running Girls on the Run as a kid.
Stewart isn't just running a marathon. She's running for the girl she once was, the one who laced up her sneakers years ago, not knowing how far they would take her.
This is going to be a very meaningful weekend for me, just going from a young runner in 3rd grade doing Girls on the Run to the full circle moment of now, like being a marathoner, supporting Girls on the Run as I do so, and being a soulmate.
And Stewart has one person to thank for all of that.
Diane's dedication to the Girls on the Run program is really inspiring to me personally, because she has shown that you can take something so big, really, and have such a profound impact on so many different people.
Through her mission, Diane has helped and continues helping young girls find confidence, strength, and self-empowerment, one run at a time.
I'm rock. I'm awesome. I'll be all right.
As Girls on the Run continues to grow in Miami, Diane says she plans to reach more schools and communities, giving even more girls the opportunity to succeed. Well, that's all the time we have for this week's edition of NewsVision.
Be sure to tune in at the same time next week. Have a good night.